Cheers. You there, Mike?
I am. How are you today, buddy?
I, I'm great. It just seemed kind of different to open up the show with that because for many months on end we did it with the whole reffing show, but we're gonna have to get used to that. Um, but yeah, if anybody did not hear or listen to last week's episode, the first one back after at least a month, maybe a little more. I'm not sure how long it really was. Just touching base with everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. And we changed the name officially last week as we're still in the process of, just rebranding and upgrading and all that good mess.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm watching WCW and the cat was pretty stupid. He just punched Scott Steiner right in the face.
You think he's stupid for punching Scott Steiner in the face?
Yeah, I mean anybody that can punch Scott Steiner in the face is pretty stupid. Like
What
he
is
just like he just did it for like no like I don't know. I had it on mute. Uh, but yeah, they was up in the ring talking and punched him. Well, the cat stripped Steiner of the title at Bash of the Beach, and then Steiner went down to the ring and everything with the cat, and the cat just punched him in the face. So
all right? I don't remember all that. It's been years now
yeah,
because I know we had spoken yesterday. We were just talking, and I told you I was watching Bash at the Beach from that year, and that probably, we I did it live, of course, back 25 years ago, and then I watched it once, probably right after it, and I hadn't watched it again until yesterday, 25 years later, and some of it I had totally forgot about. I knew the matches I did, but I couldn't remember what was going on in them, different things like that. Review, man. We're talking about from start to finish with the breakup of um, the first match. It was the Filthy Animals, and was it MIA? I believe was they went by, and the officials had to come down. Me and Mickey J was breaking them up, running them off the whole match, and then I was out there in the crowd in my match with Steiner and Awesome for the U.S. title. I actually get hit at the end, and then the cat basically makes me ring the bell, sort of like the screw job finish with Hart and Michaels. Gives the match to Steiner. But good stuff. World Tag Title match. Chronic wins the tag belts from O'Hare and Palumbo, I believe, if I remember correctly. I watched more WCW today, and Super Brawl Revenge I watched earlier today, which was towards the end of WCW in '01, February of '01. So a lot of it, once I watch it all, it kind of starts. And I watch a lot of other wrestling too. Right now, I'm watching NXT on the TV, so trying to get back in um, rare form with that as well.
yeah. It seems like you're watching a little bit more of the newer stuff lately, and I've been kind of sliding back to the older stuff. But it's all good wrestling. So
Yeah,
well,
just the characters change throughout the years. We know that, and maybe the way things is done or done have changed, and the business has progressed. But overall, all great athletes throughout the years, and we're all going to have something we enjoy more to watch. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. We may have football players we grew up watching as well in the '80s and '90s that we think are the greatest, that are better in today. Just like a lot of us think that a lot of the performers in pro wrestling was better of yesteryear. But nonetheless, still great athletes. A lot of them are more athletically gifted today, but the business has changed. Um, I know that's kind of weird to say they're more athletically gifted, but they are, and they do a lot of more crazier stuff. But the business has changed, and back then, You'd have guys like Dusty, which was he was very much an athlete as well in his own right. But a match with Dusty and Flair, you get what I'm getting at, is a lot different than watching Ricochet wrestle Kenny Omega or something. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, which makes sense. Uh, but did you hear? Uh, it was last week, I think. Vince McMahon got into that car accident.
I did.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but apparently, like he is like kind of speeding, got too close, and totaled both cars. With the lawsuit that's going on with this, and then now this, man, I hate to be Vince McMahon.
Yeah, because it sounds like the lady that posted something on one of the social media sites, I read it. It sounds like that she may be going towards, and I could be wrong. Maybe she just wanted to post about it. It sounds like she may sue.
I mean, I would. I mean,
Well,
I mean, he's got the money. What he's got left, who knows how much? Uh,
I'm sure it's quite a big chunk.
yeah. So I mean, why not take your chances? Like he totaled your car, you could probably get a couple million out of.
I mean, she could, especially at the rate of speed that they said he was going in the vehicle. Um, I'm sure he's paying off a lot of fines just alone just in that. He was speeding at was it 80 or 90 miles per hour or something like that.
Yeah, and apparently it happened around the same time that Hulk Hogan passed away too.
Oh wow.
So I don't know if he got the news about it and like that was like he wasn't really thinking or what, but apparently it
Well,
was around the same time.
yeah. Well, I read something else later on. It's funny you bring this up about the accident. That someone had made a comment that knows him very well, said that he loves to drive fast. There's even memes online now of his face on Fast and Furious. So they're making fun of it now. So apparently he likes to drive fast. So I don't know. I mean, he did grow up. If people don't know this, he did grow up in the Carolinas. And Carolina is rich in NASCAR history. So maybe Vince has a little more Carolina in him than you know.
Which he could, uh, but I don't know with everything going on with the lawsuit and now this. I have a feeling sooner or later it's going to catch up to him where he's going to be doing some kind of jail time.
Oh, that's a big possibility. I mean, keeps something going on. It's like he can never get back on track from something going wrong. So yeah. Um, Also, since you mentioned Hogan in the same breath again, and that's a big topic. That he passed away just last week. It's been about a week, and it just so happened that the LJN figure, almost exactly like the one in the '80s that I do have, they did a remake of it, and the details on that figure are phenomenal. So I'm gonna have to buy me another one. I know the pre-orders are already sold out, and they were going to hold off on releasing his later, but they did it now because of what happened. So I don't know if the company did it just because they knew they can cash cow on it. Bam, here they are. Everything's sold out, and we'll sell more down the road because of what happened, or they did it out of respect because he is such a big icon in that industry. Regardless of what reasoning was behind it, they are sold out. They did it the same day. And I think they're $25 for the new LGN figures for the guys that they made. And they actually got a Dusty with a polka dot, which is, oh, I got to buy it as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the LJN dolls come out.
Oh yeah, I've seen them. I want to get them too. So who knows? Maybe we'll end up getting them together, and I don't know. maybe who knows? We might keep them displayed, or we might buy some extra and play with them. Who knows?
Well, I wish that I had my original Hogan one from 19, I don't know what year, maybe 84, 85, whenever they came out. I wish I had that one in the original packaging, but sadly I don't. And I don't even have the championship belt that came with him. And that makes me sad as well. So anyway, that's a different story for a different day, I guess.
So, is it true? Because you live in Florida now.
Yeah.
Uh, did the mayor, governor, did they really make today, August 1st, the Hulk Hogan Day down there in Florida?
That would be 100% true. Governor DeSantis did it. So August 1st of every year now is Hulk Hogan Day in the state of Florida. So that's a real big deal. I mean, that just shows how much he is in everybody's culture growing up from, us being kids, the adults in the 80s, and then the kids today knew about him. And you get what I'm saying. Every generation from the 1980s know about Hogan. That's lived since then. So it's a big deal. But for the governor of the state to do that, I think that's a big deal. It ain't like it's the mayor of Clearwater. It's the governor of the state of Florida that did this. So pretty big deal in a way. I mean, I know I'll never be Jamie Tucker, Dave, not even for the city of anywhere, much less a state. So good for him, man. I'm happy to see that. He did. He was around for decades. He did a lot for the industry. And if people sit here and deny it and say that, just like Dave Meltzer had said that recently, but Dave Meltzer's been known to be full of crap. He said that Hogan did not change the business, did not help the business, did not move it forward. Well, I think I have to think on the other side of the coin here, and I disagree with him because he 100% did. The rock and wrestling era, and when WrestleMania happened, and then Hogan was big deal with all that. Of course, he had other characters to help this thing happen. He had to have the Roddy Pipers, the Paul Orndorffs, Mr. T being involved. He had to have all these different characters. King Kong Bundy, I could name more. Bobby Heenan was a part of that. Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, all these guys to make it all work. But he was the biggest deal of the whole thing.
Yeah, he really was. You can't just have one person like doing everything. It takes everybody, and it's pretty much like a drama or a play. You need everybody to put on a good show, and that's what they did. Hogan just happens to be the main star at that time and everything. So if it really wasn't for like the other people in the right place at the right time, Hogan would never been as big as he was, and he would never change the wrestling business for what it was.
Correct. Correct. It's just we call them supporting cast, I guess you can say, like in any movie or like you said, play or even a football team. They all have to work together as a team. They may be one that gets more credit, and there may be one that gets more money. But at the end of the day, it takes a whole team to make a thing happen. So his supporting cast was a good cast. Absolutely. 1980s WWF and the 1980s NWA. And hell, for that fact, 1980s AWA Vern Gagne, the Memphis territory, the Florida territory, all of it was on fire in the mid 80s. And, I just love pro wrestling. So, and the 80s is my favorite. It really is. And then I go into the 1990s, and then, they're my two favorite decades, 1980s and 1990s. But I grew up in both of them, and I actually worked in one of them almost a whole decade, the 90s. But yeah, good stuff all the way around. I'm sorry I'm losing my words here. I'm just watching NXT, trying to understand what's going on, and I don't. I'm not being disrespectful when I say this to anybody that's on there. I don't know who half the guys are, but I don't keep up with it every day either. So, um, I'm kind of don't know what I'm out of the loop. So it's not really. I don't know if I'm being entertained or not, but
Well, you'll get back into it, and it's a good product. They're it seems like they're not like a starting up brand to just being full Raw and SmackDown. It seems like they really are like their own brand, like a third like brand in the WWE.
yeah, it just throws me off to see Trick Williams with the TNA title on NXT television. I think that's what's getting me right now. But I mean, like we've talked before, I think it's good for the business and it's good for them to to work to have that working relationship. So it looks like it's working for them.
Yeah, working pretty good because it should be the TNA president said they should have a announcement within 6 months of a TV deal, and it seems like it might be the CW where NXT is, or A&E. So one of them might be the new home for TNA, which if it does, it's going to help them out a lot.
Right, right. Yeah. And I've watched a little bit of TNA recently as well, and both products look like they're thriving. I watched some of Netflix's Raw this past Monday, and I thought Raw was a good show. Just all across the board, the products have been good for pro wrestling fans. And I heard that the NWA has their shows went to the Roku channel or something now. And I was about to check into that as soon as I got done watching NXT today. So I'm trying to get back in the groove of watching the modern day products. Because for several months there, I got away from it. So, but I'm looking forward to catching them all and learning about some characters that I've been reading about that I don't know much about, just because life's been busy and I've been out of the loop. But looking
Well,
forward to it
well,
totally.
talking about the Roku channel, the Good Brothers got a wrestling school thing up in Georgia. Well, they do like wrestling shows and everything, and that's actually supposed to premiere on the Roku channel. I'm thinking, if I remember correctly, I think tomorrow night. So if I could find it, I'm gonna be watching the Good Brothers show upon.
Okay, I didn't know about that either. I'll have to make a moment for that as well. Um, so, as we're talking about modern day wrestling, is there any other wrestling news that's kind of like, oh my god factor at the moment, or is everything pretty chill?
It's pretty chill. Uh, Everybody was talking like about Hogan and like whatever's going on between, well, when he was around, like him and his kids and stuff. But you probably saw it from Monday night. They actually had Hogan's son, Nick Hogan, in the front during the 10 bell salute.
Yes, yes, I saw that. And then Bischoff was up there and stuff. And then SmackDown, I believe Jimmy Hart was one of and B. Brian Blair, and a couple of them were at that one. So that was really cool. And
Yeah,
then NXT had theirs as well Tuesday.
yeah, I was happy that they actually had his son up on there. Uh, I don't remember if he was ever a part of any show for like wrestling.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm happy that like he was still like he made amends with his son, and he was there for his dad and everything.
Right, right. That is a good thing. So, I did see something online that, and I may have sent it to you. Um, it was, I guess, Matt Hardy put a post online that I guess his wife, Rebby, had drove to the airport to go to, I think it was London, and didn't put gas in her car, but she came back and she ran out of gas on the side of the road and then said it was his fault for not putting gas in the car. Is that what I read?
I think so. Like it wouldn't upload for me, like you sent it to me, and I tried to upload it.
Okay.
So I was kind of reading like very small print, but that's what it sounds like.
Okay. I know he put it out there to probably be funny. Uh it is kind of. But you know, sometimes you do get blamed for things, right? You get blamed at home for
You got that
things, little
right.
things.
It's always the woman's fault, but they will always blame the man.
And they'll sit there and say that we did something and blow it out of proportion. Yeah.
Oh, they
So I
they
understand where he's at right now.
they do, but no matter what, I still have a hot American wife, so I'll
There
be
you go.
fine.
You had to say something to return it so you don't get in trouble later.
Oh, but I will still get in trouble, so it'd be okay.
Right, right. So we had talked about the WCW Top 10 World Champions last time. This time we had mentioned maybe throw in some talk about the Bash at the Beach 2000. So, like I said, I went back yesterday and I watched it, and I watched it from start to finish, every single minute of it, and you know, so what are the hot things that the big topics you got questions for from that, if any, or comments to make that you watched from it? Um, Anything in particular, or anything from the WCW product around that time that you've came to your attention that needs to be brought up? What do you think about when you watch that from that era?
So I like me and you talked about it a couple weeks ago, and everything from Bash of the Beach was just popping up on my phone, like YouTube, uh, Vince Russo, Jeff Jarrett's podcast. Like it was a lot of different stuff just popping up.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about this kind of a little bit before, but just in case we got new people on here, can you explain who would be in a production meetings in WCW around this time?
Like who would particularly go to the meetings is what you're
Yeah.
asking. Okay. So on a production meeting for a pay-per-view, a Nitro, a Thunder, even at the Saturday night tapings before back in March was the last one of that year. Even then, you'd have production meetings. So the production meetings you'd go in, um, we were given a call time. So we go to the building, we go make sure we're there on time, and then the ones that were supposed to be in the production meetings would go to it. Well, the ones in production meeting would be on Nitro Thunders and pay per views. Let's talk about them because that's where most of the people were at. You would have guys like, let's say, if Russo's writing at the time, he would have been there. I remember around this time. So let's talk about July that year. So you had Russo in there, Bischoff's in there. Let's see, John Laurinaitis, Terry Taylor, David Penzer, production guys that deal with the cameras and the truck. All of them are in there. Tony Schiavone's in there. Um, I don't know. I think Bobby Heenan may have not been on TV at this time, but he was at some. I remember Bobby being at some. Just whoever worked the TV would be in there, like announcers too. All the referees would be at these production meetings. So if you were booked on that Nitro or Thunder or pay per view or whatever it is, you'd be in a production meeting. And we'd all sit in on this, and you'd get your sheets, and it would start. The sheets would start with how the show opens, even down to how the pyro goes off. And we would read through every bit of it and go until segment one. This is segment two, and so on and so on. And they'd go over what's expected. Even big camera shots, they talk about that at certain times. Uh, they talk about where the refs need to be at a certain spot. If we need to be at somewhere for a big spot, just whatever it may be, we'd go over it all together as a company. But primarily, you had like I said, I named the talent that would be in there, and the only talent in there would be the announcers at the broadcast booth, David Penzer, and the referees, and then you'd have your booking committee, and then the production people. So that's who's in the room.
Okay. So I heard up on, I think Jeff Jarrett's podcast. It might have been Russo's, but I think it was Jarrett's. Uh, do you remember anything about that production meeting? Because it sounds like Bischoff, Eric Bischoff, is really big into like the 4th of July holiday. So he had family and everything over. So the production meeting would have been, say, like Phil's at 4 o'clock that day. They moved Vince Russo moved the meeting up like a couple hours. So Bischoff wouldn't be there to try to change what was going on and stuff. So that's why the stuff happened like it did. Like, do you remember that production meeting, or like, is that true? Did they move it up like a norm from the normal time that y'all would normally have it, or what?
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you, Mike. I don't remember that day and that happening that way. So I'm going to say maybe we didn't, the refs and not every, okay, I'll just put it this way. Maybe not everyone was involved in that day because I don't remember ever a production meeting being changed at any time I was working there. So maybe I didn't even go to one that Sunday. And the reason I say that is because I went through all my sheets, production sheets from the ones I set in on, and that is one of the ones that just so happens not to be in my old stuff. So it's making me think that they didn't clue us in. We showed up on time like we were supposed to for call time, and when we get there, there was no meeting. Probably is what I can't say that's what happened because I can't remember back that far. It's been 25 years, but I'm starting to believe that's probably what happened since you've heard that. Was that on Jarrett's podcast? You
I
said.
think it was. I think it was him and Conrad talking, and like they was just saying like if the meeting, they didn't know like the exact time or nothing, but they gave like an example, like if it was the meeting at 4 o'clock, they bumped it up to like 2:30 because Russo and everybody else wasn't there, and they only had like, it sounds like, the people in the match in the room to go over it, but Hogan wasn't there yet neither, so nobody could really figure out what was going on.
Right, gotcha. Um, that's crazy. I'm starting to think that maybe I didn't go to a meeting that day. I I wish I could remember back that far. I do. I tell you this much: I do remember that it was kind of a relaxed, really relaxed day that day, and guys were leaving because we're right across the street from the beach, basically. Guys were leaving throughout the day, and normally at TV, we don't go nowhere. We stay there. Guys were leaving and coming in and out as much as they wanted. It was just seemed really odd. I do remember that much, but other than that, I don't remember too much about it being out of the ordinary. Other than I do remember um, a couple of the referees even left, went out for a few hours and came back like it was nothing. So it was kind of a weird day, but Other than that, I can't remember too much.
Now, would that be before or after Eric Bischoff made it to the arena, or
Uh,
do you not remember?
Bischoff. Now, here's my question: did they say what time Bischoff got there? Because I don't remember that. Was it still early in the day, or was he there late?
No, so apparently it was a little bit later because apparently he had friends and family over at his house, I think,
Okay.
because he was celebrating like the 4th of July weekend and stuff because apparently that's his favorite holiday.
Oh, okay. Cool. So yeah, I don't remember. I just know during the day that that was one of the most relaxed TV days I'd ever seen. Um, just for the fact that guys would be like, "Hey, I'm going out over here," and they'd be guys going out to the beach, and I'm sitting there going, I don't know. I'm scared to leave here because, I don't want to get in trouble. So, you know, but anyway, I can't remember too much about that day. And I don't remember if we had a production meeting, but more than likely, by the more it sounds that they must have done one early, like said, and guys like me and the other referees and the people they didn't want in there to know about this to kayfabe us from it, we just wasn't in there. So
So you did watch the match that we're kind of hitting around to now, with Hogan and Jeff Jarrett, right?
yes,
Okay, so if a lot of people don't know, it's the finger poker doom is what they call it now. Um, so what do you remember? Like, was you watching it in the back? Like, where was you at when the match was going on? Do you remember?
yes. And then it's on the pay per view version that I got. I don't know if the network. I didn't notice it yesterday, so they may have cut out certain pieces of backstage. But if you look real closely down the hall, and the segment where Kevin Nash walks down the hall, you see a black and white striped shirt in the hallway, and I'm standing there talking to Julia actually, because she was with me on this trip, and she had came backstage because I was done for the night. I was just waiting for the show to be wrapped up, and we were going to leave and go back because we stayed across the street from the arena at a hotel. Um, but yeah, it. I was there watching it backstage, but I did not know what actually happened. I did not know anything about, and now the more and more that we talk about this, just puts it out there that they had that meeting early and they didn't even have us at it, because I had no idea that that whole thing that went on out there went that way. It went that way, but here's the thing. I didn't know that it shouldn't go that way because I didn't know which way they were going to go to begin with. All I knew was Jeff Jarrett is defending the title against Hulk Hogan on pay-per-view. That's all I know. And then what you got and what we all seen and watched is what we got the final product of.
So Hogan's in the ring, and then you got Jeff Jarrett. He looks like he's walking up the ramp and everything. Well, he slowly starts walking back down, and I had to rewind it to make sure, like, I heard it right. But one of the announcers, like, cause how Jeff Jarrett was walking back to the ring, he says, "Does Jeff Jarrett know something that Hogan doesn't?"
Mhm.
He gets into the ring, the match starts, and then he just lays down.
Yes.
So how he was looking and stuff, like, did the announcers know? Like, I know you said you don't really know for sure, but like, I can't remember which announcer it was, but just that sentence that he threw out there, why would he say it if it wasn't like if he knew that something was going to happen?
Correct.
It's like,
Um, that is a good question that you brought up. Um, maybe certain people were clued in, um, so they'd know how to react to it on commentary. I have no idea. Now we've heard stories. I'm sure you've heard these too. That the whole thing was a work from the get go.
and then
So
who's who said it was a shoot and who said it was a work?
I'm trying to think where I heard that at because I've
Uh,
seen so many
so
things
so
about.
would it be Russo saying it was a work, and then Hogan said it was a shoot, right?
I think that's the way it went. We need to All I know is I can't even recall um, hearing anything about who's going over or not. I don't remember any of that. So I'm starting to think that the production meeting, like you had said, was done early. And then when we got there, signed in, made sure we were there on time because they fined everybody if you wasn't there on time. And then after that, it was probably just here's the run. But then again, I don't even have a run sheet, so I don't even know. I don't know. I'm just speculating that that everything that we've heard on other podcasts, that people that talk about it, that they would have more insight, unfortunately, because the only insight I have is I was there, part of history, WCW, and then that's the final finished product that you got. Um, it's still all puzzling to me. I'll just be honest to you. You know, um, I wish I had that booking sheet. I wish I could read it off to you what was supposed to happen, and then we can go into it, and you'd be like, "Well, that's not what happened." That's right, because we were all led to believe this, but I don't know what we were led to believe. I'm starting to think that we were led to believe that there was a match, and what we got is what we got.
Yeah. They said that what Hogan wanted to go over, which that was supposed to be the plan finish that everybody agreed on, but then I think it was supposed to be like another match or something, and Hogan was supposed to drop it later on, and
Right,
that's what he didn't want to do or something. And then that's how everything, like the meeting, got moved up and stuff. I don't know, uh, but so what do you know if Hogan's contract was coming to an end around that time? Because after he won, he left, and that was his final appearance in WCW. So was his contract was about to come up anyways? It could have been a storyline to make him look kind of strong
right,
ish, but then Russo come in and cut that promo like he did. Apparently, he waited till Hogan left the building
right.
and stuff to cut that promo. So I don't know. It's hard to say which way is right or wrong on this one.
Right. And I mean, so I've heard another scenario, and people talk that Hogan was supposed to win the championship at Bash at the Beach, but he would not appear again until Halloween Havoc. And then I guess he would have came back. From what I understand, he'd have came back more of a Hollywood Hogan type character. But apparently that was all nixed. So that also makes you go to believe that, yeah, he was supposed to win the championship, but maybe not in the same fashion where Jarrett lays down. So when that happened, it was like, I guess Hogan took the ball and went home and said, "Screw you guys," because that's not part of the deal we talked about. That's just my theory. I don't know. Or Hogan was fine with it at first, and then the actual work turned into a shoot. after the fact. I mean, only a handful of people know the truth behind it. Um, and you almost hear the same story from most people, but you hear different tales from others. So I don't know. I really don't know. But to see how it all unfolded, when I was there in the moment, and I was a part of that company during that time, and Booker T got the championship. Everybody was happy to see Booker get it. Booker was one of the coolest guys you could work with. I enjoyed working with Booker. I don't know if you remember, he did that GI Bro gimmick for a few months, and I thought that gimmick was awesome. Even when he did that, Booker was just to me. Booker's if he'd have had the championship a lot longer than he did in WCW, when we did our top 10, he would have fell closer down the pole than what he did. It's just the fact that he had a shorter run. But Booker was well more deserving at the time. Probably the only young guy there. And when I say young, he was younger than a Hogan or somebody like that. He was still not like the youngest guy there, um, but he was just in his prime, man. He was ready for the championship, and I think they did right by picking him. But being there, back to what I'm trying to get at, being there in the moment, I'm telling you right now, I believe 100% at that time. I don't know now what to believe. Sometimes I believe it was a work and we all worked. And sometimes I'm like, that's a shitty ordeal. Either way you go. But at the time, working for that company in the midst of it all, I thought it was 100% shoot. And I'm not going to lie about that.
So we're going to fast forward a little bit to Russo coming out, does the promo, and he's putting over the newer talent. Okay, saying like Jarrett deserves the spotlight. Uh, Booker T, the MIA, like he lists like a bunch of different people,
Mhm.
and said that the match between Hogan and Jarrett pretty much it didn't count.
Yep.
Jarrett is now the WCW World Heavyweight Champion once again.
Yep.
Gets a match with Booker T at the end of Bash at the Beach. Why? Okay, so my thing is why Booker T? Because he had a match at the beginning of the pay per view and
Mhm.
he lost.
Yeah.
That
Earlier
that's
on.
not
Yep.
yeah, that's not really a number one contender thing for me. Like
Okay.
I want to see people that actually wins and like I'm like one of them people that win matters. That's what I loved about AEW at first, where they had like the ranking system. Like if you win, like you're moving up like the ladder and you get that title shot. Uh, he just lost at the beginning of the pay per view, and now he's got a world championship match that he's gonna win. You know,
Right. Um, I see your point. He did work Canyon a couple matches before, and actually he loses it. Jarrett does interfere, though. We can bring that point up with I believe it was a guitar shot, if I remember correctly. Um, but Jarrett interferes nonetheless and costs the match for um, Booker. So you see that, and then you see Booker and Jarrett work later, and then um, Booker beats Jarrett. He gets his revenge in a way, and on top of that, he wins the World Heavyweight Championship. So it's kind of like I get where they did there, but I also understand your concern as watching it. You're watching this going, wait a minute, shouldn't we pick a guy that's maybe freshly won or uh, but then again, um, my question to you then back to that is who at that time would you have picked if you still did the same scenario? Would you have changed the characters in the end, or you just would have had Booker going over earlier?
see, see, it's hard to say because, like, just thinking about it and stuff, storyline going on, it kind of makes sense for Booker T because, like you said, Jared did interfere and everything, cost him the match. Uh, so like the storyline part for that makes sense, but then the ref's decision is final. He still lost. He should have never had the title match that night. Like he could have made a case for it, done whatever uh, for Monday on Nitro. You know, it would have made a little bit more sense for me. Like, oh well, he's got a point to prove, and he can go in and have like a heated discussion with Russo or the cat or whoever at the time, and it's like, well, we'll see your point. We'll give you the title shot tonight.
Right.
Like, but did they really like? Was their plan? So was their plan for two world title shots at Bash at the Beach, and Hogan was supposed to drop it later on that night?
Um,
Because if so, then it kind of makes sense that way. Because you had Jared and Hogan, what, second or third match from the end or something.
well, they
So
were
it's not really like the main event of the show.
right.
So would it be like, was he supposed to drop it later on to somebody? Then if that's the case, then I can see why they did that too.
Yeah. Not sure about that. The only thing I kept hearing otherwise that changed the scenario was the mere fact that um, Hogan would come back at Halloween Havoc. Um, and if I remember hearing it correctly, I don't remember who told it, but basically he was going to come back and say he never lost the title because he won it, and then I guess he would have came back and worked with Booker at I'm about to say SummerSlam at Halloween Havoc. Not sure. I've heard so many different scenarios that were thrown out there. A couple different ones from the what we've all heard. We've all heard the same one, but it's hard to say, man. All I know is when I look back at that time period, and I'll be honest, I was young going into that company. I was hired at 21 years old. I was a young guy. I was of the newer generation, I guess you could say. Um, and by the time this all happened, I was 22, so not much older when Booker won the belt. But to me, it was cool because it was the changing of the guard. It was a younger generation getting an opportunity that more or less at times in the past, Booker as a single may have not got that opportunity, even though he was well deserving, a fine athlete and all that, right? So to me, and believing that it was a shoot at the time, I was all for it. I loved every moment of it. I thought it was great Booker had it. So yeah. But like I said, up until I started hearing different stories, I always thought it was a shoot. But after nowadays you have these documentaries, Dark Side of the Ring, you got all these podcasts that everybody talk about the same thing. And it puts in your head now that shit, was this a work? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, dude. I think people's went as far as one scenario saying that the Bret Hart situation with Michaels was a work. Everybody I talked to said it was a shoot. Earl Hebner swears it's a shoot. But who knows,
Yeah,
right?
it's I I don't know about that one, but that's but Hogan and Jared. I mean, I it's hard to say because they opened up the Nitro right after Bash at the Beach on Monday, saying they was putting Booker T over, which they should. He's the new world champion and stuff. And they said a lot of things happen over the pay per view, but for legal reasons, they can't talk about it. Is that because Hogan had creative control,
Well,
or was it something else that, like, I don't know, like, what's the legal control where they couldn't talk about it?
I believe Hogan, if I ain't mistaken, didn't Hogan sue WCW after the fact? And he went on Bubba the Lunch Budge radio talk show and talked about how WCW screwed him over. I believe that's what happened.
I
So
think that's when what Russo did that promo, and then his what was it, discrimination or whatever with his name, and whatever, like talking bad about him, and so he's gonna
like
sue.
defamation of character or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I don't know. It's just I, I don't. It's like talking about it can go either way, but I hate to say it, but I think Russo kind of messed up on this, which is hard for me to say because I like Russo, but but I think Hogan had a point in this, and I think they changed the match and everything for him, and I don't know. It's we need to talk to somebody about this, but like I don't know who we could talk to because Jarrett pretty much says the same story. Uh, we can't talk to Hogan. Russo said after Hogan passed that he's not going to talk about it no more. Uh, like who else can we talk to about this?
Right. Um. Well, the referee involved was Slick Johnson. So the question is, um, wouldn't Slick Johnson been cued in if it was a shoot on Hogan, so he knew what was going on? So who knows? Maybe it's the Slickster. um, get a hold of him somehow. But other than him, dude, I'm trying to think. Maybe Pinzer. Pinzer said that Booker was. I've heard him say uh, that Booker was supposed to win the heavyweight championship from the get go. He was told to have a suit for Nitro the next night because he was winning the world heavyweight championship at Bash at the Beach. He swears up and down that. I believe he may even said Terry Taylor's the one that called and told him to tell Booker. Um, so if that's the case, Booker was supposed to win the title all along that night. So the way it went, would that have made it a work now? So
So maybe Hogan agreed to do it, but maybe he didn't want to lose to Booker T after he lost a match. Maybe Booker T was supposed to go over in the first match. He lost, and then Hogan's like, "Well, my character's going to look weak now, losing to somebody that just lost a match."
right, gotcha.
So, so would I go back to being being a work? Like I don't, like
Yeah.
I don't. Uh, uh, yeah, we need to talk to somebody. Who knows? The cat, you know the cat, so maybe you can get a hold of him and we can ask him. Somebody's got to know.
I mean, it just makes you wonder when you start talking about it. But like you said, I mean, Russo in the past, Jarrett in the past, they all tell the same story. So maybe it is. Maybe it was
But
a shoot. So
but
100%.
listening to Hogan and stuff, I mean, it sounds like it could be 100% work. So,
Right.
like, we is I know Kevin Nash was what in charge of booking. Was
Yes.
he around booking around this time?
No, that was more of 19. I think he had it from 99 and so, and then he was out. That's a real hard job. It's what people, and especially, it was hard enough for the days of booking a territory, anything like when Dusty did it. But you got to put into consideration by the time WCW came and involved and you had all that talent for TV, you're probably dealing with 60, 70 talent at least, if not more. So, and you got to fill in this show and that show and, blah, blah, blah. So I know at one time Jimmy Hart was given duties to run the Saturday night show and deal with the talent over there so they could get booked and stay worked. So it's a lot to deal with. People don't realize that. So I believe just like any other booker, from my understanding, Nash got burned out, and I could understand that. That's a lot to put up with. That many talent. It's just it's got to be a lot on your mind, a physical toll as well. So
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it does take a lot out of him. Then he was also wrestling too,
yep.
so yeah, he probably had a lot going on.
Yeah, just
But
like
I,
when Dusty did it, people didn't realize it then. They were all like, Dusty's putting himself over. Dusty's putting himself over. So here's the thing, and I know we're jumping off subject here, but when we talk about bookers such as any of them, like Nash over the years that got the book, or Dusty, go back to the 80s, these guys put themselves over at times because think about this. Who's the one person you can trust more than anybody? And they're going to say the same thing I'm saying, and that's yourself. So if you know you can trust yourself in a high profile spot, you can trust yourself to carry a title or carry this angle or whatever, you're going to do it. So that was made the most logical sense at times. So when people down Dusty and say Dusty was all about pushing himself, he got jealous of this guy, got jealous of that guy. There's a story going around. He was jealous of the Rock and Roll Express getting a bigger pop than him. May be true. I don't know. Only the guys involved would know that. But my point being here is the reason Dusty was on top for so long when he booked himself is because Dusty could trust Dusty. So just like when any of the wrestlers become a booker as well, they are going to put themselves over at times, but they can trust themselves to carry the ball more than they can somebody else. So that's what I'm getting at. And I hate to jump off subject, but I just want to let people know that when you go out and criticize next time a Dusty Rhodes or somebody of that nature, start to think why they did it, and that's why they did it.
yeah, which that makes 100% like makes sense for sure. Uh, but then I just going back to the topic before, it just popped into my head. You have everybody like you have Russo coming back out making that promo and stuff, but they did the apparently did the meeting before Bischoff got there and stuff. Where was Bischoff at during this time? Like, so Hogan left. Did was because Hogan and Bischoff was like good friends and stuff. Like, did he know like it was a work and everything, and he got mad and he left with Hogan, or do you
Right.
even remember seeing Eric Bischoff show up that day?
Um, that day when I go back and think about it, I don't remember if I ever saw him or not. Backstage, I I wish I could recall that day 100%, but I can't. I do know I remember seeing John Laurinaitis at the gorilla position on headset. Terry Taylor's on headset. I believe Terry was on headset pretty much all night, but Johnny was like overseeing certain matches, so he would get on headset on matches, and then you would throw in this. Say if Ricky Santana was an agent at the time, he would jump in on the headset and take over for his match as an agent, and when they'd cue you in on certain stuff that need to be done. Be here for that. Be there for this, or this is about to happen. Get ready. They even got down to the point, when I broke in the business, it's a whole lot different era too. Changing the subject probably again, but when I broke in the business, when it was time to bump, you just had to be at the right place, right time as the official. You get in the way or whatever and get knocked out, or they'd run into you or whatever the case may be. But they got to the point, we're wearing earpieces. They would actually tell you, hey, the spot's coming up, get ready, blah, blah, blah. And you're sitting there going, okay. But I was taught just to know what spot to look for, be ready, take the bump, take the hit. But that's how I remember John Laurinaitis telling me to be ready, that they're about to bump you or something of that nature. And it did happen. But that's just how the business has changed, though. But speaking of CM Bischoff, no, I do not remember him. I'm trying to think of people I do remember. And like I said, it was Laurinaitis. All the agents were there. Terry Taylor, I do remember seeing. Of course, Dave Penzer was there. He was the ring announcer. And all the referees were scheduled. Nobody missed the pay-per-view. We were all there. Production looked normal. But Bischoff, for some reason, does not stick in my head. Not saying he wasn't there. And I'm sure he was because he said he was. But as of me remembering it, no, I do not remember.
No, like it just popped up. I didn't know if he left what Hogan did, or
Oh, I'm
if he
I'm
got
sure he
like,
may have left. Yeah.
or if him and Russo got into it in the back room. Like,
If
I
I
don't know. It seems like we got a whole lot more questions than answers now.
well,
So
the thing with that is that if they did get into any kind of confrontation, it must have been behind closed doors. But then again, there's so much going on. I do remember backstage, Hogan just pretty much walking by you, but that's it. He didn't say nothing. So you wouldn't, but at the time, like I told you, I thought it was a shoot 100%, which a lot of people are still swearing that it is, which I don't know. I'm guessing it is, but um, at the time, I thought it was a shoot. So a lot of things did seem a little off. People walking by you, people acting different, people acting weird. But I don't even know if they had enough time to have a confrontation because, if you remember, when Russo comes back, they had one match in between, and then Russo comes out and cuts a promo again. I believe. I ain't wrong.
yeah, and then Hogan left. But if it's a shoot, him leaving makes sense.
Yes.
But if it's a work, man, if you did that to me and kind of made me look like that, I'd be trying to find you in the back area, trying to, I don't know, take that championship and give you a tattoo on the forehead or something.
Or turn that son bitch sideways
So,
and shove it up your candy. Yeah.
but so I don't know. It sounds like, I don't know. Like, could it be like a half work, half shoot? Like I don't know. Like we
Yeah.
need who knows? Maybe we can talk to the referee since you know him pretty well and see if we can see what he says. Maybe get him on here and we could talk about it.
Right. Yeah, because I'll just be perfectly blunt. I I thought at the time it was a shoot. Up to this day, I don't know any different that it wasn't. Up to this day, I believe it still is because that's what I've been led to believe. And you know, back to what we were talking about earlier. I guess that's 100% true about the production meeting because I don't even remember if I went to one that day or not. I have no proof that I was because I have pretty much, I don't have all of them, but I have pretty much damn near every single production meeting I went to. And I'm pretty sure I would have kept that one. Not saying I didn't lose it along the way, but I don't have a run sheet for it at all. So it's kind of like,
It'd be kind of weird, like you will lose just that one for
yeah,
Bash at the Beach,
yeah,
but
the
something
one,
major happened, you know?
right. So I don't know. But yeah, as far as I know, it's been a shoot since the year 2000, and I believe it was July 9th. Am I right about the date?
Yeah.
Yep, 2000, and it's been over 25 years now.
I
So,
mean, unless you're trying to work us now on the podcast.
well, one thing's for sure, and that's nothing's for sure. So,
Well, I know one thing that is for sure,
what's that?
that
What's that?
we support the veterans.
Yes, sir.
And do you want to tell these wonderful people about how they can support the veterans?
Yes, I'd be more than happy. And that is going to Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company's website. It's cowboyrevolution.com. Go there, take a look at all the merch they got going on. It is August already. It's still hot out there. It's going to be hot a little bit longer. Get you a t shirt or something. Keep cool still for the time being. Get you a hat, keep the sun off your head, but you got to prepare yourself for the fall coming up. So look at the nice hoodies they got. I love my hoodie. I know I'm in Florida now. I'll be wearing it some, but not near as much as I needed in Virginia, but I will be wearing it. So guys, go there, look at their merch. And when you get ready to check out, I'm telling you, to save that 15%, all you got to do enter the code in the search bar there at checkout. And what you got there, it's Jamie T123, and you'll save that 15%, and then you'll get your stuff sent to you within a few days to a week, generally the turnaround, and you'll have that great stuff. And you'll be prepared for the rest of summer or prepared for fall or whatever it may be. But go check it out today. And remember, it's cowboyrevolution.com. It's the Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company, and enter at checkout Jamie T123, 15% off. So that's how we can support the veterans. Go do it.
So I think we're done with Bash at the Beach. Uh, but it was an interview sometime this last week about Jimmy Hart saying that he felt like he was walking with Elvis when he was with Hulk Hogan. Just how many people will ask for autographs, pictures. Like he felt like he was like as big as Elvis.
Yeah.
Did you hear that part of it?
I did. I did hear that.
Well, I'm about to go way off topic, not even about wrestling. And I
Okay.
hope you forgive me for this.
Okay.
But I think we talked about it before. I know when you used to work at Walmart with me,
Yeah.
and I've been telling people probably for about a year now. I think Elvis Presley is still alive,
Okay.
and it just pops up, and it just dawned on me when I heard Jimmy Hart talk about Hogan and like Elvis kind of compared them and stuff.
Yeah.
But okay, so it's a guy up in Arkansas, I think, named Bob Joyce.
Bob Joyce. Okay.
All right, so you can listen to his stuff on line and everything. He's a preacher and everything. Well, he sings. He's got the same features as Elvis and everything. Well, the thing that the reason I think he's Elvis is like if you followed the whole story, you would know. But he's actually doing a concert October 10th, I do believe. And he says he's got a big announcement to make. And if this guy is not Elvis, he is working everybody because he sold this thing out in like no time. General admission $65 sold out. Reserve tickets 150 sold out. VIP tickets $225 sold out. VIP table for 8 2000 sold out. Friday meet and greet 125 limited availability sold out. If it's just a preacher from Arkansas that's not Elvis, he is not selling out this big thing, right?
Well, I
It
don't
is.
know.
It's Elvis. You got to go. Like, who knows? I mean, like in a couple different months, I'm gonna have. We should have some good news. Like in October, this guy's gonna say he's Elvis. In in August, we get to finally hear and see the real American freestyle wrestling. Like, I don't know. Like I know this has nothing to do with wrestling, but it just when they start comparing like Hogan and Elvis a little bit, like how like famous and stuff like that, it just clicked it to my head. And
Well, what's this guy's name again?
Bob Joyce,
Now, have you heard him sing?
yes,
Does he sound like Elvis?
he does. So it's got a lot of different people that tries to sound like Elvis
Can I ask you a
and
question?
everything. Yes,
If I go and ask Alexa about this, will she play his music?
I hope so.
Okay, let me find out. Hold
Yeah.
on. Here we go, guys. All right. Alexa, play music by Bob Joyce.
Here's some music by Bob Joyce on Amazon Music.
Here we go. Let's see. I'm trying to, hopefully his voice kicks in. A lot of piano.
Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder
Oh my,
consider
that just might be Elvis.
the world
Alexa,
thy
play that song. I'm gonna hear some more and see if I can get some Elvis out of him vibe.
God's Holy Spirit, through the wings of His grace, lay cold
Wow, that is like Elvis, bro. Alexa, stop. So,
So
Mike,
if you
we all know Elvis. We all know Elvis did gospel music, right? We all know this. He really loved doing church music too. He was big in church when he's growing up. My God, that sounds just like him.
so if you have to go in there and you have to like just follow like the whole entire like history of the whole situation. And I played it just him singing because I'm like laying in the bed or something and start like reading all this stuff, and I played this song, and my hot American wife was beside me, and I played it, and I did not show her my phone or nothing. And she was like, "Why are you listening to Elvis?" I was like, I'm not. This is a guy." And I was like, "Well, I am listening to Elvis." And then I tried to explain it to her, and then yeah, so like I took a survey at Walmart about it and stuff, and it's a lot of people that's starting to believe that this man could be Elvis. But like I said, like if he's just a preacher and that's it, he is not selling out this place, all these tickets. like just singing music, you know?
Well, no, I disagree with that because what's that? What's we got? TD Jakes in Atlanta, Georgia. What's the other one's name in Texas? His mom just passed away, unfortunately. Joel Osteen. They feel like church is full all the time.
Preaching. They're not doing a concert
So
singing.
you're saying that he's going to sell it out, or
No,
has he
he already
already?
sold it out, and it is sold out because if you read at the bottom of his page, the tickets are like you can't get no refunds for it, so it's completely sold.
Wow, that is unheard of. I'm gonna keep my eye on this now. Bob Joyce. I'm gonna put him on my playlist so I can remember his name, and I'm gonna do more research on this now. You got me really puzzled because people said it for years that Elvis was still alive, and I think now we found out where the heck he is. Now, is there pictures of this guy? Do you have pictures of this guy online?
Yes, just go look, just look at them. Uh,
I'm gonna do it right now. I got the computer right here. Oh
like
my! This is a new top story now for our podcast too.
I mean, we're talking about a work and everything already, so might as well add something else to add a work to it. But yeah, you have to read everything about it. I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, oh no, it's not him. Elvis is dead. He died in '77, I think. No, he did not. He is right here, right up in Arkansas. I think it's Arkansas.
Bob Joyce. Let's see how old he is.
See, he's got. If you read everything, he's the same age as Elvis. In interviews, he never talks about his childhood, like a little bit like that, but he has the same like history of like when he talks about like going to like he was up in Germany. Elvis was up in Germany, up in the army and stuff. Uh, I don't know. It's Elvis.
Let's take a look at this guy. Well, he looks a little like Elvis,
You have to
but
you have to look at it like you gotta think he's changed so much during that time. But if you look at the picture, I don't know which picture you're looking at, but he's got like a little scar or something on his forehead, like right above his eyebrow or something.
uh-huh.
The same place that Elvis had one. Elvis, before he really got big and like famous wise, he had a gap in between his teeth.
Mhm.
Well, they filled that in or put a cap on it or something. Bob Joyce got the same gap. Elvis had a shorter leg, like a little bit shorter leg, where he could do those dance moves like he did. Bob Joyce got the same little shortness of leg. Uh, it was something with his hands or something too. So they got the same type of features and stuff.
That's crazy. I'm gonna I'm gonna keep an eye on this development story, and then when he makes his announcement, if he comes out as Elvis, that's gonna be big news.
But I mean, that's just like that stuff. Apparently, he's been at Graceland before, which is not really too
No, I've been there
weird.
twice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not really weird, but I th- I think I heard like he was allowed on the second floor, but only family can be up there.
Right.
Uh, when Elvis's daughter passed away, what, a couple years ago, the funeral was closed to the public. It was just family. Bob Joyce was there. They closed down Graceland and everything for like the holiday, like Christmas and stuff. He was visiting Graceland during Christmas.
Mm.
So I don't know. Could this be a better work than Russo at Bash of the Beach, or or what?
Oh, it's a good. This would be the best work of all time if he comes out to be Elvis Presley.
Like
So
I
that's
I
interesting.
don't know why I brought it up. It just, you know me, like stuff pops into my head and stuff. So
You think we can get tickets to it?
no, it's sold out.
What if I email him and tell him I'm a big fan of his gospel music, and me and my buddy want to come down to Arkansas and check out his show, want to hang out with him, blah blah blah. Right? I tell him about who we are. You know, we're a big deal, bro. We got this podcast and former WCW referee during the conspiracy theorist of Bash at the Beach. I'm gonna give it a shot. What the heck?
Yeah, but the thing is, okay, if you're gonna do a concert for you or whatever, you would you would think you'd do it in Arkansas, like where you're from, right?
Yeah, what do you do it?
He's gonna do it in Alabama.
Mm.
That's a little bit bigger area than Arkansas, ain't it?
Well, Alabama would probably be a closer drive for me.
Well, I'm just saying, like
Or
it could
fly.
be like who knows? Maybe after the concert, he says something about being Elvis. He goes up to Graceland.
Huh.
Like it'd be either going to Graceland from there than Arkansas.
It depends. And what part of Arkansas? Because don't Arkansas and Tennessee meet?
Uh,
Huh.
I don't know. I'm not good with places like that. The only thing I know about Arkansas, that's where the Walmart headquarters is, in like their little museum, and I will never go to it to visit it.
Right. I understand.
I got enough time invested in just working for the company. I ain't gonna spend more time and go somewhere that I really don't.
There's a lot of them that would give up their life just for that. So,
Yeah, not me.
hey, thank you for bringing that up today. That's really interesting. I'm going to keep the development story on that, and we can talk about that later on down the road. Especially if he comes out as Elvis, we're going to do a big episode on that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it ain't really nothing uh wrestling related, but it's also our adventures. And then who knows? Maybe we talk about Elvis this time. Maybe next time we'll talk about his brother, the Honky Tonk Man. We
Right.
never know.
Well, you know, he is one of the two kings of Memphis, Elvis Presley and Jerry the King Lawler.
Yeah, so we could talk about the Honky Tonk Man or Jerry the King Lawyers next time, because we got two kings and then we got two brothers.
I'll tell you something you need to go look up. Talking about things being looked up. Do you remember? I don't know if you've watched it. It's around '86, I believe. It's a guy by the name of Dirty Rhodes, and he said he was the cousin of Dusty. Did you ever see him?
I I don't remember who it was and stuff, but I do remember seeing that.
Go look that up again and watch how he starts a feud with Lawler, him and Lawler, and then it's really good stuff from '86. And then he's part of a tag team called Fire and Flame, and really good, interesting TV. Memphis is really wild. It was like I don't like to compare their product to ECW, but it was kind of like ECW before ECW. They were wild, you know. They had the Moondogs, and they do some crazy stuff. Had some crazy characters. So I kind of caught like hardcore before hardcore.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out.
Well, I know we didn't get down to the full bottom of Bash at the Beach on this episode. We went a little more in depth about that time period than we ever have on the podcast. But yeah, to this day, I guess I'm going to say it's a shoot.
Uh,
And that's where we're going
I,
to leave it at.
I'm gonna say it's a work.
Okay.
Because
And
I don't know. I just think it's a work.
may have to try
Until
to sort it out.
Russo can actually prove it, not by saying it. If he's got to have the papers and stuff, like at the meetings and stuff like that, because I know he keeps stuff like that everywhere. Until he can prove it, a work or a shoot, I'm going with.
Okay. And you could be right because, like I said, I've heard from a couple of different sources that Booker was told ahead of time to bring a suit for Nitro because you're becoming the heavyweight champion at the pay-per-view. So it very well could be a work from the get-go. I don't know. But nonetheless, we do need to remind everybody again to go to Cowboy Revolution Apparel Company's website, cowboyrevolution.com. Go check out all the great merch they have to offer and put in the code when you check out for 15% off your order, Jamie T123. That's cowboyrevolution.com. So, Mike, I don't know what we're getting to next time. Hell, it might be about this. What's his name? Bob. What's his last name again?
Bob Joyce.
Might be about Bob Joyce again. If we have developing story, maybe we already find out he's Elvis. Who knows? But by every bit of information I looked up on the line, it says he's Elvis. So we're going to find out. I can't wait to find out the real.
Like, it was other people that said, hey, they're Elvis. They're Elvis. Like, a couple people. But this one, if you put everything together, he's Elvis.
Right.
So, if y'all don't believe us, y'all go look at it yourselves. Bob Joyce. And then look up some good wrestling. Go to independent shows and everything. Because independent wrestling is getting really hot again.
Oh, it's the backbone. It's definitely the heart and core for anybody developing themselves to get to that next level. For the mere fact that we don't have territories. When I broke in, the territories were almost all 100% gone except for one, and that's the Jarrett territory, and it was called the USWA at this time. But other than that, and then Smoky Mountain, I apologize. Jim Cornette had Smoky Mountain for a few years up until 95, and then the USWA shut down in 97. And after that, guys, we had no territories. And I strictly worked indies up until I got opportunities. And indie wrestling is I tell everybody, the heart and soul of seeing the next big talent on the television one week. So go out and see these guys, regardless of where you live. Virginia's got quite a few different promotions that I worked for when I lived there that are good. North Carolina's got a slew of great talent. And then, of course, down here in Florida, we got a bunch of good talent still in the indies. And then they also got, of course, NXT's here and then Evolve and all that good stuff. But just check something out and enjoy it. And that's all I got.
Yeah, I think I'm good too, buddy.
Well, I enjoyed the podcast this week. I enjoyed talking about that time and era, and I enjoyed watching it again yesterday and watching some other TV of WCW 2000, 2001 this morning. And I'm just now getting ready to finish up NXT with Santina Marella actually working in the main event on this one. So I'm getting ready to jump into that. He's going for the NXT North American title. See what that's all about.
Yeah,
but I think
that championship they
Ethan?
did. Ethan Page. They changed the
Yep.
title a little bit. It's got a Canadian flag on the belt and
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of North American, but he makes sure the actual belt is a Canadian flag because he says he's a proud Canadian and everything. So
Right. Right. Yep. Well, guys, we are going to be back next time. We're going to get out here and get you some more wrestling topics to talk about with us. Send your questions in to wrestleref123 at gmail.com. We haven't used that email in a few weeks. So get the questions back in. We're back now. WrestleRef123 at gmail.com. Also, look forward to the new social media sites that will be coming out in the next few weeks. And just get ready to tune in with us and have a good time and talk wrestling or maybe even Bob Joyce and Elvis Presley. So until next time, we'll see you.
bye, everybody. Are you there?